Hey, Matt Koenig, your value driven coach here. And today I want to talk to you about harnessing the power of communication. Tony Robbins is known for talking very in depth about the power of communication. And one of the things that Tony talks about is the quality of your life depends on the quality of your communication. But what if you're a leader, a business owner, a marketer? Does the same rule apply? Heck yeah, it does. Listen, there are a couple different ways that we're going to talk about with your communication today that are valuable. So, hope you got something to write with because we're going to get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about is in person communication. Now, in a post COVID era, in person communication is finally coming back. Woo, finally. But here's the deal, in person communication has got a different dynamic than what you're going to do when you're just speaking over the phone, when you're doing things virtually. And it's going to depend on if you're in a one on one setting or a group setting. But let's talk about in person communication in a one on one setting. What are some of the things that you need to make sure that you're doing well in order for your in-person communication to go well? Well, in a one-on-one setting, the things you got to pay attention to are three. So write these down. One, your body language. How you move, how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself can make a difference. You can say the exact same thing in the exact same tone of voice, but if you change your facial expression, people are going to receive it differently. If you look like you're upset, even if you're saying it in the same tone of voice, it may not come across happily. Whereas if you've got a smile on your face, you can say just about anything and it'll be received fairly well. I say just about anything because there's an exception to every rule. So body language is one of the first things you got to pay attention to. Second thing is you do need to pay attention to your tone and inflection. What do I mean by that? I mean the variance in our voice, right? Some things sound happy, some things sound frustratingly angry. And pause when you're speaking. When you've got to make a point and you're having some communication here, like one on one, you need to pause, leave room for reflection, leave room for somebody to process what we're saying. Now, the other type of thing that you got to pay attention to are, of course, your words, right? We have to choose those wisely. People have different sensitivities based on their life experiences, things like that. So, as we're trying to communicate something, we want to make sure that we're using words that will resonate with the person that we're speaking to. So, if you're spending time with people on your team, or if you're getting to know the people that you're working with, coaching, leading, etc., you're going to know certain words that maybe resonate better with them based on what they've told you. Now, that's one-on-one in-person communication, but what about group events? When you're in groups, your communication style needs to change a little too. Because now, as you're telling stories and making points, you've got to think about multiple angles. Like, here, I'll give you an example. If you read through the Bible, for example, there are four different gospel accounts. Two of them eyewitnesses, Matthew and John. Now, if you read their gospel accounts, they don't both share the same details. That means two people witnessing the same thing saw them from different perspectives and they took away different things that they witnessed, right? Well, the same will happen when you're doing a group meeting, a group training, things like that. So when you're in a group setting, what you want to do is a couple of things. So write these down. Number one, you want to make sure that you're sharing about topics that are relevant to everybody. Okay. You want to make sure that everybody in the room is going to get some value out of what you're talking about. But you also want to make sure that when you're in the group setting, that you're communicating in a way that people from different backgrounds with different perspectives can all relate to what you're teaching. Now, same things go for one-on-one communication to group. The same things translate as far as your body language, tone and inflection, and word choices. But your word choices now, you're going to make sure that you're communicating in a way that tries to open the dialogue for everyone. The other thing in a group communication setting, if you really want to get powerful with communication, is start off finding a point of agreement. Write that down. Start off by finding a point of agreement. What do I mean by that? I mean, let's say you're doing a sales meeting or you're doing a group training with salespeople. What does everyone in the room want to have happen when this meeting is over? They all want to be able to sell more product and make more money, right? The other thing that they could probably all agree on is that if they don't leave better than when they came in, their time will have been wasted, right? Of course. So here's the kicker. When you start off a group meeting, you could say, listen, I know that everybody probably in this room is thinking to themselves, I'd rather be with a client right now trying to make some money. Is that fair to say? Everybody in the group's going to acknowledge you, nod your head, maybe say yes. Say, let me ask you this. if by the end of this meeting, you're not any better than when you walked in, can we agree that I will have wasted your time? Everybody's going to say, yeah, if I'm not better when I leave, you've wasted my time. Great. So let me ask you guys this. How many of you would like to be able to sell more product, make more money, and enjoy your life a little bit more? If that sounds good to you, say yes. Everybody says yes. Say okay. Then boom, you can move into here's what I'm going to commit to give you during this so that you can walk out better than you walked in. Okay, start at a point of agreement. Find something that you know everybody in the room will agree on, and then ask what is called an affirmation question. Like, can we agree that da 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 da? Or if I were to take an hour of your time and not help you be a better salesperson, I will have wasted your time. Am I right? That's an affirmation question. Those are questions that can only end in yes. So, in group situations, make sure that you're speaking about things that everyone in the group can find as valuable, that they can resonate with, that they can relate to, and make sure you start at a point of agreement. Now, third type of communication, and that's the one you're using right now with me, is virtual. Virtual communication, virtual insanity. Jamiroquai. Sorry, I'm not as good of a singer as he was, nor am I as good of a dancer. Here's the deal with virtual communication, you're a little bit limited, right? Because you don't know the mindset, the mood, facial expressions, body language, or anything of the person that is watching you. But you want to make sure that when you're using virtual communication, that you're doing it in a little shorter, like little snippets for each thing that you're doing. Notice I've broken this up into different snippets. You want to make sure that the things that you share are direct to the point and that you give people takeaways that they can write down. With virtual communication, make sure that your camera is good and clean, and please write these things down. Make sure that your camera lens is clean, that it's a good quality camera. For example, I'm using Detail Cam. You can go to, I think it's detail.io, but I use my iPhone 13 Pro. I'm using Detail, the camera app there, and also the free app on my Mac. So it connects it, uses it basically as a web camera to record this with. Make sure that your audio is good. If you want to learn more, you can go to valuedriven.site, click on the menu, and you'll see pro audio tools you can hook up on the amazing Sabine Cast mixer that I use. So make sure your video is good, your audio is good, make sure your internet connection is good, and make sure that the things that you share with people are clear and concise in shorter snippets. Those are some pro tips for how you harness the power of communication. Look, if you'd like more help, a couple things I'd suggest. One, if you're watching this on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Anchor, whatever podcast platform, make sure you subscribe and do me a favor, like this. And last but not least, head over to valuedriven.site. That's valuedriven.site. Book a call with me. It's absolutely free. I'd love to help you move in the right direction with your communication skills. Listen, no matter where you're at in your business or life, you're just one moment away from being a little bit better. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next session.